Hey y'all, it's your girl Qual. Welcome back to my channel. And I hope all is well with everyone. Y'all, please do not mind me in this video because I don't know what's going on with my skin. I think maybe Mother Nature is coming for me. So y'all do not talk about my skin. I don't know what's going on. Like I be drinking water. Like I just look like I'm breaking out. So yeah, and it's hot. Y'all know, like in Texas, when the summertime come, it's hot. So yeah, so please don't mind my appearance. I just want to talk about this story time today that I got for y'all. But before I get to this video, I hope all is well with everyone. I hope everybody's having a good day. I know that I'm not posting a lot because, you know, I'm working and I be so tired, y'all. But I don't forget about y'all. So the reason why I want to talk about the story time is because it just popped back up in my spirit. Like it just popped back up in my spirit to talk about this because it's so funny how God can heal you from things that really hurted you in the moment, in that time when bad things happen. God can heal you from those things. And when I had moved to Texas, I had forgot about that even happening to me. So as y'all can see by the title, yes, this drug dealer threatened to shoot up my apartment over $20, y'all. 20 petty dollars. And I know to me that may be petty, $20, but to a drug dealer, that ain't petty. That's serious. So make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, please. Because I'm trying to get to 13,000 subscribers. So yeah, anywho, so this happened back in 2022, y'all. 2022, when the Lord had blessed me with my first apartment, y'all. I was so happy to get that apartment because before I was blessed with that apartment, me, my mom, my sister, and my brother, we was renting a 3-bedroom out. We was renting rooms out from this guy. So this guy that we was living with, he had a 4-bedroom house. So me and my sister, we was sharing a room. My mama had her own room and my brother had his own room. So we was renting them 3 rooms out for $700. You can't beat that for $700. And that's how I really knew, like, God, even though the situations that we was always in was terrible, I really knew, like, I really saw like God's hand over me and my family's life. Because when I think about that situation, who renting out 3 rooms for $700 all together? Not like $700 a piece, but together. And my mama was paying for it. So we was renting these rooms out from this guy, and I was looking for work because before we moved to that place, before we moved to the guy house, I had told my mom, I was like, look, when we get to the guy house, I'm gonna be looking for a job so we can get out and get our own place. And she was like, okay. So I was end up, you know, blessed to get a job. The Lord had blessed me with a job. I was so happy to have it because I knew, like, once I get this job, I could start stacking because I ain't have no bills. I ain't have to pay rent. Like, my mama was paying, like, the rent for us to be there. So make a long story short, like I said, I got the job. But in the midst of having that job, y'all, so much was going on in that house. So my mom was messing around with the guy that, I feel like something's on my eye. No. My mom was sleeping around with the guy that was renting us the rooms, right? And before we moved to this man's house, I had told my mom, I was like, please, I said, do not do anything with this man. Do not do anything with this man. And what I mean by anything, do not have no type of relationship with him. Don't have no sexual relationship with him. This is strictly business. We are living there and paying him so we can live there, so we can eventually move out. This is a business. This is a business, right? And she was like, yeah, you know, I know I'm not gonna do that, you know. So I'm like, okay, boom. We had this talk before we moved in this man's place. And what did she do? She started messing around with the man. So you cannot mix business with pleasure. You cannot mix business with pleasure. So of course we living there, we as the children, we're living there, and we're witnessing our mom and this man having some type of sexual relationship, and on top of toxicness, right? It was a lot of toxicness, and I couldn't understand, like, how could my mom do the same thing I told her not to do, right? So it became to where the environment was starting to get very hostile and very toxic real quick. So like I said, I got the job, I was blessed with the job, and I said, oh no, I gotta get out of here. I have to get out of here, right? So I saved some money and I got an apartment. So when I moved inside the apartment, I had begged my mom to come with me, because at the time she didn't want to come with me. She wanted to go stay with that guy, and I couldn't understand why, because mind y'all, this guy that we was living with, he had a baby mama, and they had like 3 kids, but the kids was grown. Like, the kids was like my age, like, you know, they was grown. So I'm like, why is my mom trying to stay under this man? Like, God had blessed me with, even though, yes, y'all, it was a 1-bedroom apartment, but I felt like it's better to have your own place, to be living with the person that really don't want you in their house no more, because it was becoming to a point where this man really didn't want us there no more because of our mother. Our mother was making the environment very uncomfortable, because first of all, when you're having, how you say it, an ungodly soul tie with a person, and you're sleeping around with this person, and you're delusional in your mind, thinking like, oh, okay, me and this person, we gonna be together, and it's not coming out the way that you want it to be, of course the person gonna go crazy, because they trying to figure out like, okay, we did this and we did that and we sleeping together, but why you don't want to be with me? It was that type of situation, and the man did not want that. The man told my mother he did not want to be in a relationship with her. But for some reason, even when I was blessed with the apartment, my mama did not want to come with us. She did not want to come with us, right? And I couldn't understand. I kept begging her. I said, please, like, I know that it's a 1-bedroom, but we could make it work. We could stay here. We could stay at the apartment for a year, and then we could, you know, upgrade to a 2-bedroom. That's just the heart that the Lord had blessed me with, because I know, like, when people move out for the first time and get their own place, they don't want to share their privacy. They don't want to share their space, because that's their first apartment. But because I knew that the situation that my mom was in with my sister and brother, I was just like, just come. We can make it work. We can, you know, have our own space. Like, it's just 4 of us. So my mom did not come. The first few weeks of me moving into my place, my mom didn't come. And I was very hurt. I was very confused by that, because I'm like, why won't you not want to come? But my sister and my brother, they came. And when I tell y'all, we had such a good time. Like, I felt like God blessed me with that apartment, because God knew that we needed to have our own space. Like, we needed to be together as a family. Like, when it was just me, my sister, and my brother, y'all, we was like, what? We was having a good time, y'all. I would buy them food. We would have like little movie nights. I would take them out. We would go to restaurants, y'all. I would be at home doing my hair. Like, I just felt like God had rewarded me with that apartment, because he knew how much I was suffering. He knew how much I wanted to be out and to just like breathe and not have to feel like I have to live under somebody else and deal with their toxicness. Like, the environment at that house was so bad. So when I got this apartment, I was so grateful, and I was still opening up my home and my heart to my family. So something happened to where my mom had to eventually move out the guy's house. And she didn't want to, even when she had to leave his house, she did not want to come live with me. And I kept asking her, and I kept begging her, like, why you don't want to come? And y'all, I kid you not, I will never forget this. She told me that she would not be abiding by my rules. And I'm like, what rules? And I guess she felt like because it was my place, it was in my name, I guess she felt like she couldn't do what she want to do. Of course, you can't do what you want to do when you're living with somebody. Like, if I'm going to work every day and I'm paying the bills, I'm paying majority of the bills, and you're not doing anything, and I have to go to bed at a certain time to get up for work, I don't need you walking in and out of my apartment door. And that's one thing I don't like. I don't like walking in and out, like, especially nighttime. I don't like that because I have to sleep. I have to get up and go to work. And on top of, y'all know that, you know, my mom was living a certain lifestyle that I did not approve of. But I was still willing to let her come live with me because I didn't want my mom on the street. I did not want my mom on the street. So, like I said, she didn't come. But eventually she came. She came. So, okay, this is where the part where the drug dealer, the whole thing with the drug dealer, that I did not have no clue about. I didn't know nothing about it. So my mom came to stay with me. The first few weeks was okay, you know, like I said. So now it's me, my sister, my brother, and my mom. So it's 4 people in a 1-bedroom, right? So me and my sister, we got the room, and my mom and my brother, they got the living room. So we making it work, y'all. And at this time, I'm still working at the same job that the Lord had blessed me with. And I would literally get up every day, y'all, 5 o'clock in the morning, because I had to start work at 8. And like I said, you know, I didn't have a car at that time, so I would have to take the bus to work. So I got up at 5, left out probably like 5:50, and waited for the bus. So I would be doing this Monday through Friday because on the weekends I was off. So I was gone the whole day until like probably like 5, 6. I'll get back home. So that's like 8 hours of the day of me not being home Monday through Friday. And I have my mom there, she's not working, and I have the kids, they in school. So imagine you not being at home and you have somebody in your house and you don't know what's going on. You know, you don't know what they doing, what they up to. So like I told y'all before, my mom was doing drugs at that time. She was on drugs. I'm not for the sugarcoat nothing because it's just the reality of my story, of my life. My mom was doing drugs, but what I did not know was that she was buying drugs from a drug dealer that was in the apartment complex, because where I lived at was so quiet. I would have never knew that it was a drug dealer that lived 2 doors down from me, y'all. The dude lived 2 doors down from me, and I have never saw this man ever before. So when everything came to the light, I was like, okay. So fast forward, the guy that I was dating at the time when I had my apartment, and I want to make a story time about that too. I want to make a story time about the guy that I was dating, probably in another video, but not now. So the guy that I was dating during the time, his sister, me and his sister was cool. His sister had got a 2-bedroom apartment, and she had told me, she was like, Qua, I know that you got your mom, your sister, and your brother living with you. I would like to rent a room out to your mom so you and your sister and your brother, y'all can have that space. And I was like really touched by that, because I was like, wow, like, you know, somebody care, and, you know, in a sense of my living situation. So I had told my mom about it, and she was like, okay, she'll have her own room, she'll have her own restroom, because it was like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and, you know, they'll be just sharing the kitchen. So my mom ended up moving out, and she went to go rent the room from the girl, right? So now it's just me and my sister and my brother. Everything went back normal again. Like, we was having a good time. You know, I was catering to the kids. You know, I was taking them out. I was buying like food for them. I was like, you know, paying the bills. I was paying the rent. Like, everything was all on me. And I was okay with that, because, you know, that was my home, and I cherished that home, and I wanted to be responsible with my living situation, because that was a blessing from the Lord. That was because at the time when I had applied for the apartment, I did not make 3 times the rent, y'all. My credit was like 530, and at the time I didn't know nothing about no credit, so I had to pay first and last month rent. And you know, I was kind of like worried because I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna get the money from, but God made a way with that. And that's why I said that apartment was a blessing, because I did not even have all the money. So anyways, like I was saying, so yeah, she moved out. It was me and the kids, and now it's just us. So on this one particular day, y'all, I would never forget. I will never forget this day. And it's just so funny, like I said, that it came back to my mind. I don't know why I'm still thinking about it, but I had came back home from work one day. I think it had to be like 6 o'clock in the evening. And I was so tired. And I came home. I told the kids I'm home. Do y'all want me to cook or do y'all want me to buy pizza? And they wanted me to buy pizza. So I said, okay, just give me like 30 minutes, you know, to wind down, and I'll order the pizza. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I was not home no more than, I think, 25 minutes. All we hear is boom, 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 boom on my door. So I'm trying to figure out, first of all, who that is knocking on my door, why they knocking on my door like that, and what is going on. That's all I'm thinking, because I'm the type of person, y'all know that I'm private. Y'all know that I'm private, so I don't deal with stuff like that. Like, I don't allow anybody to come to my house thinking that they could disrespect my house like that. So I'm clueless. Like, I was like, is that the police? Is it somebody that's, you know, looking for something? Like, I didn't know. You know, I didn't know what was going on. So I told the kids, be quiet, because the kids were scared. They didn't know what was going on. I said, be quiet. And they said, okay. So I went to the front of the door. No, I went to the door and I had looked out the peephole. And it was this man that I didn't even really recognize, that I really know, because mind y'all, where I lived at was quiet. People barely came outside. The only people you will really come outside is the kids, you know, be outside playing. But as far as like grown people, adults, I didn't really see them come out like that, you know. And plus, I was always at work, so I didn't really know my neighbors like that. So he's steady knocking on the door as I'm looking at the peephole, and I'm like, who is it? He was like, such and such, because I couldn't even remember his name. And I'm like, can I help you? He was like, I'm looking for your mama. I'm looking for your mama. I'm like, well, she's not here. He was like, you need to call her right now and tell her to give me my money. So I'm like, I got quiet because I'm confused, like, what money? He was like, oh, she owe me money. She owe me money. I want my $20. I want my $20. So I'm like, $20? I said, can you please stop knocking on my door? He was like, no, I'm not leaving until I get my money. So now I told the kids, go in the closet, because I don't know, because the way my room was set up, I had like a walk-in closet. So I told them to go in the closet just in case anything was to happen, right? And at this time, y'all, when this happened, y'all, when I tell you, me and my sister and brother, we had PTSD bad. You know why we had PTSD? Because I think 6 months before this happened, 6 to 7 months before this happened, y'all, my brother had got shot. My brother had got shot. He was walking to the mailbox, and I guess he was like, how do you say it? I guess he was mistaken for somebody else. So the boys that saw my brother, they thought that he was the boy that they was trying to get at. So my brother ended up got shot in the back, but the bullet did not come out of him. So by the grace of God, my brother made it, like he survived it. So of course, after that situation happened, we are afraid, because we never witnessed gun violence like that. So like I told them, go in the closet, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what he got going on. So I started calling my mama. She wasn't answering the phone. And now I'm panicking because I don't know what's going on. And I really didn't want to call the police because I don't know what type of time this man was on, right? So I called my ex-boyfriend's sister, because remember, y'all, my mama was renting a room from her. So I called her. She answered the phone. And I was like, are you with my mom? She was like, yeah, she in the car next to me. We just come back from Walmart. I said, can you please put my mama on the phone? And I had to really, after that conversation that I had with my mom a few weeks after that, I had to ask God to forgive me, because I don't condone nobody to be yelling at their parents, to be screaming at their parents. But the fear and the anger that I felt towards my mom in the situation, I just crashed out. I remember I was screaming and yelling at her on the phone, because I was like, how dare you have this man that I don't even know come to my apartment talking about some. And this is what he said. He said that he was going to shoot up my apartment if he don't get his $20. Knowing that your son just got shot my brother got shot from gun violence. And this man come to the house talking about some, he finna shoot up my apartment with me, my sister, and my brother in here over $20 that we had no clue about. So my mama was buying drugs from this man. I didn't have no clue about it. I didn't know, because mind you, like I said, I be at work 8 hours of the day. So by the time I come home, I don't know what's going on. I don't know nothing. I'm tired. I'm not worrying about what happened. So I'm screaming at my mama. I'm yelling. And it's just crickets on the phone, because she knew that she was wrong for that. She knew that she was wrong for allowing that man to come to my place, bamming on my door, looking for her over $20. And the problem was, like I said, she left. She went to go rent the room from the girl, and she left without paying him his $20. And that's what had happened. So I'm guessing that she said that she was gonna pay him back, and she left without giving this man the $20. That for whatever, I don't know. I kind of don't really know like the full backstory, but I knew it was behind the drugs. I guess she brought $20 worth of drugs from him, and she was gonna pay him back the $20, and she never did, right? So I remember telling her, like, you need to come over here right now, or I'm gonna call the police if you don't bring him his money, because he's threatening to shoot up my apartment, and we are in here. Anything can happen, because at the end of the day, y'all, bullets fly. Bullets don't have a name on it. Bullets don't have eyes. It will hit anything that's in contact of it. So she's still quiet on the phone, and I hung up the phone, right? So later that night, my mama didn't even come bring the guy the $20. The girl that my mom was staying with, my ex-boyfriend's sister, she brought the $20 to the guy. And I remember I was so angry, because I wanted her to talk to him about, like, you know, putting him in his place, about, you know, knocking on the door, bamming on the door, like being disrespectful, threatening to shoot up my home that the Lord blessed me with over $20. I felt like that could have been handled a different way. But anyway, so yeah, my mom did not show, and I was really angry with my mom. Like, just by me talking about this, I was so angry with my mom, because it's like, you couldn't even, like, she couldn't even show up to show her face and be like, here's your $20. I want to talk to you about this. Like, don't do this. Like, it was just like she brushed it under the rug. It was just like, oh, here, go take him his $20. It didn't even apologize to me. I never got an apology about that whole situation. And mind you, like I said, we had PTSD, because my brother had got shot from gun violence. And then on top of this, man said he finna shoot up my apartment over $20, and I had no clue of what was going on. Now, mind you, we don't know what's going on in people's mind. We don't know what's going on in people's mind. We really don't know. We don't have, as humans, we don't have the ability to read people's minds unless the Lord give us those type of gifts, right? So he could have came over there with a gun and started shooting my apartment without even saying a word about anything, because you don't know what's going on in people's mind, right? So I remember after that, I was so angry with my mom, y'all. I was so angry. I didn't even want her to come back to my house no more. I remember it was like 3 weeks went by, me and my mom did not talk because I just kind of felt like you didn't even apologize to me. You was willing to put us in danger over drugs, over $20 worth of drugs. Even after your son got shot, and we trying to heal from that. That was trauma. When my brother had got shot, that was trauma. That was trauma for us. And I just remember, like, at that moment, I realized, like, when that situation happened, I was really under a demonic, I was really under something demonic that I didn't really understand. I didn't really know about. But even in that, the Lord was still covering me. The Lord was still protecting me, because at the end of the day, I was innocent in all of that. I didn't know that a person that was so dear to me, to my heart, a person that was my caregiver at one time, you know, will put me in a situation that could harm me, or possibly me and my brother and sister even losing our life over drugs. And this is why they say don't do drugs, because when you do drugs, you don't even think about the people that's around you. You don't think about the aftermath of things. You just think about the drugs and what you want in the moment. You don't think about nobody else. And we could have got killed from that, because once he said that he was going to shoot up my apartment over $20, I mean, so after that situation, it was like God had did something in a way where he had to get me out of the presence of my mom. He had to get me out of there. So a situation happened where my mom and the girl got into it, and I was about to go over there and fight the girl for disrespecting my mom. And let me clarify this up. No, I'm not a fighter. I don't like to fight, but if I have to, I will. Especially when it comes down to my family and things that I care about in my respect, I will fight you. So when the situation came down to the girl and my mom getting into it, I went over there to the girl house about to fight her. The police was already there, like, waiting for me to come so they can help my mom get her stuff out. And unfortunately, my mom had to come back to come live with me because she had nowhere to go. And this was during the time that me and the guy had broke up. So, of course, when you're not with the person anymore and you still have some dealings with their family member, of course, something is going to happen. Anyways, she had to come back. And when she came back, it was just like, I just felt like this demonic just presence. I always just felt like demonic energy, demonic, just something was around me and my family, but I couldn't really put my finger on it, because it was just like every time she came back into my life, it was like things were starting to go bad for me. Like things were starting, like, I remember, like, I wanted to renew my lease. They did not allow me to renew my lease. I remember it was times where I would buy groceries for the whole house. Yeah, I would put $300 on groceries, and she wouldn't save me nothing. Like, she would eat up all the food. I remember it was a time where she would use up all the lights, and one time the light bill was like $200-$300, y'all. And when I tell you, still to this day, when I had to move out, I couldn't pay the light bill off. That light bill never got paid off. So it was just stuff like that. And then she still kept doing the drugs in the bathroom. Like, she was doing drugs in my bathroom when I would go to work or when I was sleeping, right? And then it was times where somebody went to the rent office and told that my mom was outside smoking, like, tobacco, and she was, like, leaving it outside. Like, it was just a lot of just disturbing, demonic stuff that I couldn't understand. And I was just really trying to make it in life. And I was really, like, at that time, I was really, like, trying to seek God, and I was really, like, trying to get my life together. And the Lord just ended it. God just ended it. He took me away from my mom. they would not allow me to renew my lease. And once I knew that they did not, because I remember during a time where I was begging them to renew my lease, and they was like, no, no. And I couldn't understand why, but I knew that God was behind that. God was behind that whole situation about me not being able to stay there anymore, but I didn't really know what it was. But now that I'm looking back on it, God was transitioning me to move on from my mom. Not in a way of trying to hurt her, not in a way of trying to shame her or trying to punish her, but it was in a way because he wanted me to have a better life. He wanted to use me for the plan that he has for my life. And she could not come with me. And that was hard. That was like a hard pill to swallow, because even though, yes, my mom has put me through a lot, I still honored my mom. I still loved my mom. I still cared about my mom. But I knew that where God was taking me, she could not go with me. And the fact that they did not even want to renew my lease, I knew that God was up to something. At the time, I didn't know. I didn't really know. I knew it was something, but I really didn't know what it was. So, yeah, y'all, that's my story time of the whole situation, how the guy, oh yeah, and let me say another part. So, before my lease was up, that same guy that said that he was gonna shoot up my apartment, he saw me one day walking back from the, he was sitting in his car, he saw me coming back from the trash can because I was throwing out my trash. And he got, as I was walking past the car, because I didn't know he was in the car, I wasn't even looking. As he got out the car and he see me walking past, he was like, hey, psst, psst. I turned around and I looked at him and I was like, what's up? Can I help you? Because I still ain't forget what he did. I ain't forget about it. He was like, hey, let me talk to you. Like, I said, no, I'm good. And I walked off. So I was like, in my mind, I'm like, this dude really had the audacity to try to talk to me. And y'all, I also found out that this man had a whole girlfriend. He had a whole girlfriend. He was living with the girl. And I think that my mom was trying to talk to him. Like, what I mean by try to talk to him, like, as in, like, she was trying to be with him. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, and y'all, please don't judge my mom. If y'all understand the background that my mom came from, it will all make sense. But I'm not here to tell her story. I'm just here to tell my perspective and what happened in my life. But yeah, like, I was really hurt by that. I was angry. I was confused because I'm like, my brother almost died from gun violence. And then this guy coming here and saying he gonna shoot up my place. And mind you, we innocent. Me and my sister and brother, we innocent. So imagine if something did happen to us. Imagine, that would have been, our blood would have been on my mama's hands. Over drugs. Over drugs, y'all. But I still love my mom. I forgave her. And recently, y'all, I just want to tell y'all that my mom have been reaching out to me. She have been reaching out to me, and she gave me her number to call her. But for some reason, I'm just at a place in my life where I know that God is still healing me from a lot of things that happened in my life when it comes to my mom, and a lot of things that she had put me through as a child, as a teenager, as an adult. And I just don't want to be bothered. I just don't want to be bothered. I don't really have anything to say to my mom, because I feel like right now, where God has me, I'm living in peace. I'm living in truth. I'm happy. I'm healing. I'm growing. And I just feel like this is not the time for her to be in my life. This is not the time for me to try to reconnect with her, because I'm okay, because the Lord has showed me that you don't even need your mom. All you need is me. And once I started to like accept that and realize that, I was like, I really don't need my mom. Like, and this is not me being mean or just being hateful, because I don't have a hateful bone in my body for nobody. But when you really start to seek God and really start to trust him, you start to realize that the people that you thought you needed, you really don't need them. Whether they're your mama, your daddy, your cousin, your sister, your brother, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, you really don't need it. Because at the end of the day, God is all we need. God, and when you begin to trust God, God is going to take care of all the things that you need. He's going to do way more for you than what the next human person can do for you. So once the Lord started to teach me that, I'm like, I really don't need her. Like, I really don't have to be in contact with her unless I just really want to. But then it's a part of me that is afraid of being back in contact with her because I keep thinking about the witchcraft. I don't know if that witchcraft is still over her life, and I don't want that coming back into my life because everything around me is flowing. Everything around me is coming to life for me. Everything is working out good for me, and I don't want that witchcraft stuff to affect me. I just don't want to be bothered with that. I don't. And I just want to say, for anybody that has a family member, you know, brother, sister, mother, dad, and they have done you wrong so many times, you have to forgive them, but you don't have to give them access to your life. You can still love them from a distance. That does not make you a bad person. It just shows that you want to value your peace. You don't have to deal with certain people unless the Lord tells you, okay, I want you to allow them into your life so he can do something. But you don't have to. Nobody's not gonna put a gun to your head. It's your life. It's your life. It's your peace. It's your happiness. It's your joy. And I'm just not willing right now to be in contact with my mother until she really apologized for a lot of things that she have done to me and to my sister and my brother. Right now I'm happy. I'm content, I'm at peace, and I just don't want to be bothered. So I wanted just to tell y'all that. And I just want to say thank you, y'all, for listening to my story time. I'm going to do a little bit more story times, too, about my life. Because I got so much stuff that happened to me, y'all. So much stuff that happened, y'all. But like I said, I hope all is well with everyone. I hope everybody's having a good day. I love y'all so much. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm going to try to be more consistent like how I always say that I do. And I hope y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all in my next video.